Whether you are a land marketing pro or a residential realtor that is considering adding land listings to the services you already provide, this video is for you. What we're going to be talking about is the right questions that you should be asking in the event a landowner calls and says, I'm thinking about listing my farm and I want to see what kind of services you offer. Step number one for you is try not to hyperventilate. You can do this. Take a deep breath. I'm going to give you the questions to ask. All you're going to need to do is just have a no pressure conversation with the caller. Before we dive into a bunch of questions that are specific about the farm, we really need to get to know the caller a little bit. Let's establish some rapport. Let's start with something like this. Are you calling from here in Missouri or do you live out of state? Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you came to be the owner of the property. And at that point, I just kind of let them run with it, and wherever they want to take the conversation, that's just fine with me. It's my time to listen and learn. Before I get into the specific questions, I want to say this. During this initial phone conversation, you are being interviewed. That's the purpose of this call. How you present yourself and the questions that you ask are going to determine if you get a second phone call with this potential client. That's the whole purpose of the call. When the call ends, you want that caller in his or her own mind to be thinking, man, that person really knew what they were talking about. They asked all the right questions. Okay, now that that's established, let's jump into it. My next question is, tell me where the farm's located. What county is it in? And that's very important here in the state of Missouri because farmland from one county to the next can be very diverse, which does impact values. Is it located on a gravel road? Is it on a hard surface road? Does it have rural water or rural electricity available? Is that already run onto the property? What's the nearest large-sized community? What other improvements are on the property? Is there a big machine shed? What's inside that machine shed? Does it have a concrete floor? Does it have a shop? Is it heated? Is there a house on the property? Any other outbuildings? Is it a upland farm, meaning a hill type farm? Are there any improvements there? Is it terraced? Is it tiled? Is it a bottom farm, meaning is the a flat farm down in the creek or river bottom? Find out what improvements the farm has. Obviously, each improvement is going to add value. Now let's start learning about the income potential of the property. And I would start with this. What's the total acres of the farm? Of those total acres, how many are actually being farmed? Of those farmed acres, are they leased to a local farmer or is a family member farming it? If it is leased, how much is the lease payment per tillable acre annually? And what's the term remaining on the lease agreement? Are there 2 years left, 3 years, 5 years, or is it a year-to-year agreement? Is the lease agreement verbal or is it in writing? Of the other acreage, is it timber property? Is it pasture? What's the income potential on that? Is there a hunting lease in place? Does that hunting lease run for several years or is it also a year-to-year agreement? How much is that hunting lease paying? The reason we're asking all these questions is again the same. Income potential for the property is so important. Any local farmer or any investor is going to want to know all the income potential so they can calculate their return on their investment. Hopefully by this time I've established enough rapport with this caller that I can feel comfortable asking this next set of questions. I start with this. Are you the sole owner of the property or are there other siblings involved? Is it in a trust? Is it in a corporation? How long have you all owned the property? Is it something you recently inherited or is it a long-time family farm? What's your motivation at this point? Why did you decide now's the time to sell? Are you motivated? Are you wanting to do something fairly quickly? We do both listings and auctions, so we can talk about the pros and the cons of that. And then this next question is one that I think it's really important that we all have the confidence to ask. What is your expectations? In an ideal scenario, what would you like to see the property bring? And then at this point, the best thing you can do is just be quiet and listen for the response. Most people have a number in mind, and many of them will share that number with you. Now, there are cases where they're going to say, man, I called you because I want you to tell me what the property's worth. I have no idea, and that's perfectly fine. Now, all of those questions were geared towards one thing. We want to try to find out if we are talking to the decision maker, because if we're not, and there's more family members involved in future phone conversations, we want to do our best to try to include everybody in these conversations. Remember, I said earlier that during this initial phone call, you are being interviewed, and your goal should be to get from this phone call to a second phone call, which will increase your chances of landing this listing. This is our segue time, and this is how we make that transition. Thanks so much for this call. I really appreciate the opportunity. I know there's a lot of realtors out there you could choose from, so I appreciate it. I really do. Thanks for sharing the information about your farm. At this time, I think with the information I have, it would be unprofessional of me to even give you a range. I could try, but I think I'd really be shooting from the hip. What I'd like to do is if you could share enough information with me that I can find the property on a plat map, then I can look at some aerials, I can look at soil maps, the exact location. I'll even try to find some comps. I promise I'll put some work into it and do my due diligence. Then I will be more prepared to have a professional conversation with you. Can we do that tomorrow? Does that sound good? I want to wrap this up by saying this. I went back and I listened to the video a little bit, and it kind of sounds like all I'm doing is rapid firing questions at the caller. I hope you know that's not really the intent and what I'm training here. As good realtors, we all know that we want to ask a question and then we want to listen to the response. Every good realtor spends more time listening than talking. These are just examples of questions that you can use to your benefit to help you land more listings. By the way, my name's Dennis Prussman, and I'm a land specialist with Real Broker. For the past 16 years, I've been marketing land all across the state of Missouri. I've also had the opportunity to mentor several other agents. My goal with this channel is to share my experiences and my knowledge. If any of this sounds interesting to you, I'd appreciate it if you would like and subscribe.